All right, everybody. How's everyone doing on this crazy, crazy day like today? It's going to be nothing but fun. We're bringing some pretty, and I've got to say this because I've heard this man, his name, I've seen a lot of the stuff that he's done, and I've just been in awe of this gentleman for many, many years. And to actually get to meet him and do the show with him is knocking one off my bucket list. So if everybody would please welcome Mr. Brent Maher. Brent, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great on this chilly day, doing really good.
Well, I mean, that's what I like about Tennessee. If you don't like the weather, just give it a day or two. It'll change.
Well, yeah, we're running around in shorts during Christmas, right? And here it's 19 degrees out, or 20 degrees, or whatever it is.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's snow this weekend, buckets.
That's what I heard. So it's going to be cool as I'll get out because I like the snow, but I don't like it all the time.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I got relatives that live up in Chicago and stuff, and they're just like, "Oh, you got to come up and hang out when it snows." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be okay. I'm right where I need to be."
Yeah.
So anyway, like I was saying, I get to knock this off my bucket list because you have done so much impressive work in the music industry alone. I mean, it doesn't matter what genre or anything else. The things that you have done, man, I mean, I'm just like in awe.
Well, I appreciate that. And, sometimes when I, look back on my own career
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll read my bio, like somebody has updated my bio and I have to read the darn thing again. I don't want to read it again, but then I'll read it and say, golly, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, if you'd have told me when I was like 14 years old that I would engineer Elvis Presley's last single, number one single,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would have, one of my first heroes was Fats Domino when I was probably 12 or 13.
Oh, yeah.
You told me that, you're going to be making a record with Fats Domino. And then, let alone working with some of my parents' acts, like, I've had the opportunity to engineer records on the Duke Ellington. Well, I mean, if my mother and father could have been there for that, that would have just been unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Well, anyway, then, then my career in Nashville, of course, with blessed with meeting the artist I've worked with and having the opportunity to work with him. It's just been awesome. I have to say.
I can imagine. And then when you look at the bio and you look at the list of everybody that you've worked with, if you're like me, sometimes you're like, "Oh yeah, I did do that."
No, you know what? I've had that happen.
Yeah.
I've had that happen. Like one of them was like Glenn Campbell. And said, "No, I didn't know. I haven't done Glenn Campbell." We said, "Yeah, you did. You did the duet with Glenn and Tanya on Dream Lover."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "You know what? You're absolutely right. I just forgot it."
That's wild.
Yeah.
So there's one thing I do have to ask because when I started out in this industry, it was in a gentleman's basement. He had his recording studio, and we were doing. It was kind of close to the end of the reel-to-reel era, and we went to ADAT tape.
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly after the ADAT tape, it went into the Pro Tools and the digital age.
Mm-hmm.
I had a hard time adapting to that. I couldn't really grasp all of that digital stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a lot of feedback on it or any difficulty at all? Or
Well, I'll tell you what, I kind of laid that responsibility on some of my buddies in the peer group, that were sort of on the forefront of making that transition. And everybody would tell me anytime I would do a panel or a forum with 4 or 5 engineers, we talk about that. The language was always, it's almost as good as analog. It's almost as good. All we got to do this, all we got to do that. And then they would come to me and I'd say, you know what? When it's better than analog, I'm all in.
Oh yeah.
Up until then, I just don't feel like using my artists as guinea pigs,
Yeah.
And so I really kept my feet out of the swimming pool until there was a new system came out called Radar.
Yeah.
And they wanted to bring it over to the studio, and I had a demo session booked, like 5 players. And I said, "Yeah, you can hook it up." They hooked it up, and when I heard the first playback, I said, "You can just stay here.
Yeah.
I'm in." And because it was actually, I would consider it better than analog because it was absolute a mirror image to what was on the console.
Right.
And so I didn't have to go through a lot of painful experiences. I did mix a few things that were done 32-track dig, and I certainly did not like it as well as what I was doing analog.
Yeah, because I've helped several artists do their, what we used to call demos back in the day, 4 songs. And I had a hard time with getting all that digital stuff I could sit back and I could tell you what I was listening to.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as, and then they got to where they were tracking one instrument at a time.
Mm-hmm.
It drove me nuts. I couldn't stand it because I was from that era where you got a band, put them in that room, mic everybody up, let's go,
Yeah.
But I was happy because I have heard that several recording studios now, they're actually getting back to putting everybody in the same room and y'all play the song.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's been my motif. We've it's the luxury of what I'm doing now, David. I'm in a place where I do the records that I really want to do, and I always have. Really, I've never say, "Oh my gosh, why am I doing this?" I love it. No, I've always really loved that. But now I've just, I'm in a place where I can just make music the way I want to make it. Work with the artists that I really want to work with, and almost all of it is live on the floor.
Yeah, and that's what I love because it's like I was telling somebody else, because I've been doing the CMA Fest. I'll do interviews and stuff up there, and I'm really kind of happy because a lot of the artists that are coming through, they're incorporating back a lot of the things like we used to record back in the day. I mean, they're doing full band, they're adding steel, they're adding violin, they're adding all kinds of different things to create that sound,
Well, there you go. That's good.
I love it. It's crazy as all get out, man. I mean, it's just, I'm kind of tickled about it. So,
yeah, great.
And then I've seen several boards that are actually reverting back to almost like an analog. And I'm really happy about that because all that digital stuff just blows me away, man.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I hear heavy breathing. What do you got?
Oh, we have our dogs in here. Is that going to bother you?
No, I think it's cool. I'll get out.
Yeah, no, that's our dogs are waiting to go outside.
Yeah, we got a Pomsky that's out in the backyard running around chasing deer. So
yeah, gotcha.
He tries to get them to play on the fence line with him running back and forth.
Oh, that's funny. That's good.
It's hilarious to sit there and watch.
Yeah.
Well, brother, the one thing that really stands out about you that I have always loved is you aren't doing things for the money or the recognition or any of that stuff. You do it just because you love it. You love the creativity process.
Yeah, I've always, I had to make a living, so.
Oh yeah.
I started, of course, as a recording engineer, And that was my, that was my 40 to 50, 60-hour week. And, but, when I've got into to producing records and writing songs, I've never entered into something like, well, I don't really get this, but man, I'm going to make a fortune. I've never done that. I've always just believed in an artist and believed that there was something I could contribute.
Right.
I've turned down some production jobs just because I said, you know what? I think you ought to stick with the guy you're working with.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I can really add anything.
Yeah.
And so, I've done that a few times. But by and large, I just, I just work because I do love the work,
Yeah. And that's what I tell a lot of these artists. Don't get into it for the money. Get into it because you love what you're doing.
Yeah.
You love the creative process. Money will come. It may be a year or two.
Yeah.
You never know. But
sure, absolutely.
At least it'll be there, because I push a lot of don't give up, don't surrender, keep going. Take it as far as you can go, because the one thing I hate is when you see these artists come to town and they've got this dream, they got 3 or 4 songs, the dream crashes, and they walk away, and then there's like 3 or 4 songs that they're taking back home and they're putting in the back of their closet or something. Somebody needs to hear that song, man.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, there are very few stories, especially nowadays, to where people haven't paid a lot of dues to get to where you're at. In other words, like an overnight breaking artist. No, that's not really the way it works. And that goes back as far as you want to go, from all of a sudden an artist pops on the scene. Well, what you don't know is they've been here for 9 years.
Yeah.
And they've been working 2 jobs. They've been waiting tables. They've been doing everything you can do. And then finally they get a break or two. And, but the main thing there is they believed in themselves enough to persevere.
Exactly.
To keep knocking on doors, and then, because all you need is that one person.
Oh yeah.
You need one person that believes in you and believes in the dream and wants to help you get there. And so if as long as you believe in yourself and you can keep your bills paid and keep your head above water, sometimes you just have to keep going until, either something breaks or you just figure out that, well, maybe not. I don't know.
Exactly.
So, have you been made aware of this new project I did, the Orphan Train project?
I was reading up on it a while ago, and I was highly impressed because I love the whole part of the storytelling that you actually incorporated into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe, if I correct me if I'm wrong,
Mm-hmm.
every song that you got in the Night of the Orphan Train, you actually wrote.
Yeah, there's 20. What it is it's actually called Night of the Orphan Train, and what it is, David, it's a musical novel. It's an audio book, and there are 20 original songs, new songs that are written in the storytelling, just like it would be a musical.
Right.
And it takes place in the early 1900s. And then you meet these 3 little orphan children that are living on the streets of New York. And then once you meet them, you sort of follow their lives until they're around 22.
Yeah.
And of course, World War I is in the middle of it. And a lot of different things happen. But how the whole thing happens, it's just crazy, because I never had any kind of an itch to write a musical or an audio book or a novel, anything like that. And then a few years ago, my wife and I were driving back from Colorado on I-70 on the way back here, and right in the middle of Kansas. And we see this road sign that says, exit here, visit the Orphan Train Museum.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, what? And so my wife hops on her computer and this website jumps up. And for the next day and a half, we stayed on that website and then went to some other connecting websites. And we found out about part of our country's history that we never heard of.
Oh yeah.
And what that is for your listeners, it's like from the mid 1850s up until 1922, New York City was kind of like what we would call a third world country today.
Oh yeah.
As much as I hate that word, but anyway, there were little orphan children, street kids, by the thousands, living and sometimes not living, on these streets, and what caused all of that was some, like the Spanish flu,
Mm-hmm.
would come through those big cities, and it would kill tens of thousands of people.
Oh yeah, it'd wipe them out quick.
Yeah, and then sometimes the parents would survive, and sometimes the parents would die, and the kids might survive. Well, if they didn't have any kind of a backup, like grandparents or aunts and uncles or somebody, they were on the streets.
Well, you come from another country, and then you hit the Spanish flu, and the kids survive. They ain't got nobody, man.
Nobody. And so, anyway, the more we read about it, and it's like, and what really started turning that thing around is there was a Methodist preacher, William Loring Brace, and he came up with this idea of reading in the paper, like some of the immigrants now weren't satisfied just by staying in the city.
Right.
They wanted to head west because they were giving land away and even paying people to move out there. And so his thought was like, some of these families could probably use an extra kid, I wonder.
Oh yeah.
And so he put this group together called the Children's Aid Society. And they started this program, and they experimented with one boxcar. And they literally loaded about 30 or 40 kids from all ages on this boxcar. They went to this destination, I think it was in Wisconsin, and they contacted a church there and said, we're going to send you flyers to let everybody know in that community that there's going to be a train car full of adoptable kids. Come to the church if you'd like to adopt a kid, get vetted, and pick one out. It was just like that. And the vetting process, of course, was hit and miss, But during that period of time, from 1854 until like 1922, this society took 250,000 children off of the streets of New York into every state in the Union.
God, I love that.
And so by the time we got to St. Louis, I had a song started. And I had a first verse and a chorus going, and it was just called Orphan Train. And I was working with Trey Hensley and Rob Ikes the next day, and we finished it up. We recorded it the same day. And then that one song led me to write another song and another song. And pretty soon I had this outline going. And in that one song, 3 little children were given birth. Caroline, 11-year-old girl, Jacob, 11-year-old boy, thereabouts. And then Billy, a little black kid who's about the same age. And they meet on the streets of New York, and they form this little family unit, and that little nucleus of what they did is what the kids always wanted, which is a family. It's the one thing that you can never have, but they form their little family, and then you follow them up until they're like 22.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, World War screws things up, of course.
Oh yeah.
And then the Orphan Train itself has a big role to play in it. And so then it's now it's an audiobook, and it's narrated, and there's music behind the narration, and then all the songs are fully produced, and it's available on Audible, on Amazon, Spotify, uh, Barnes and Noble, any place that people stream their audiobooks. It's out there, and it's really doing well. It's really doing well, and some of the reviews we're getting in are just like crazy good. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I plan on listening to it this weekend because I actually have a free weekend.
Well, it's a 2.5 hour listen,
Yeah.
and I'm really excited about it. It's something I never dreamed in a million years I would do, but I'm so happy that I did, and now I'm really having a lot of fun helping promote it. I'm talking
Mhm.
to folks like you and doing radio shows, doing some live performances, and but it's a piece of work I'm really proud of.
Have you got any like I don't know if they even still do it, but I remember they used to do book tours where you at the bookstore and you were signing autographs for people and talking about the book and stuff. You got any
I'll
of
be
that?
doing that. That's on the docket.
Man.
Yeah, I'll be doing that, and then I'm doing a radio show. That's an hour radio show. It's called The Wood Song.
Mm-hmm.
It comes out of Lexington, Kentucky,
Right.
and we'll be taught. Trey Hensley's going to be there with me,
Okay.
and we're going to be talking about the book, playing music, and then I've got some of the artists that actually performed on the soundtrack in the book that'll be up there performing. Some of the children, and they'll be doing the songs that they actually. When you hear the audiobook, those are the kids on stage.
Yeah.
Actually, are on the audiobook.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
gonna be.
that hit you, man. I mean, it's just because I've told several people it's weird how something can hit you just where you least expect it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. But a road sign. Who would think?
Yeah.
Who would think that a road sign would put me on basically a 4-year journey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's did the songs just did they hit you out of the blue or just you sat down and just decided to create them or
Well,
how did that work?
they did, because I'll tell you the difference. Like somebody asked me the other day, what's the difference between songwriting and writing a novel or a musical novel like this? And I said, you know what? I said, when you write a 3-minute song, and it's about, love, getting your heart broke, whatever it's all about, maybe a little story song somewhere along the line. But when you're done with it, you're done with it,
Yeah.
And then you go through the recording process possibly. But when you're writing a novel, it's a living, breathing thing that
Yeah.
just exists in you. And so a twist, a turn in the story, like I'm one of the major twists and turns in writing the book was while I was pulling into a gas station. And all of a sudden I said, this is what's going to happen. I went, oh my God. And I got my phone out and I just talked it to my phone for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then by the time I got home, I had a song idea. And so the scenes were always leading me to a song.
Right.
And then sometimes I would have a song that would lead into a scene. But, and a song never totally writes itself. But I have to tell you, when you have the subject matter and what you want to get across really already there in your mind of what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
it makes the song pretty easy to come out.
Yeah. That's what I like because I love hearing the stories about, when the songs will hit people or where they're at or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And, like you said, 3.5 minutes of a song, that's one thing. But when you get into the whole book level of it, and I can see that level of songwriting for that book because you actually get a vision of what actually is depicted in the book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you add to it.
Yeah. I've actually had tears roll down my cheek while I was actually writing the song because of the emotion that was behind it. And I knew what was about to come, or it already happened. You follow
Right.
me? And you get that emotionally wrapped up in it, or at least I did.
I can imagine. And I need to know are you going to be doing a book signing in Nashville?
Yeah, we don't have it exactly locked in yet. We have a couple of opportunities, but to be honest with you, I've been so darn busy. I haven't had time to, but it's something that we really want to do.
Yeah.
And so we'll get the word out to everybody, and because what we'll probably do is kind of like what we're doing at Woodsong,
Yeah.
except it won't be probably as long, but we'll probably do some. So I'll have a moderator with me, and we'll talk a wee bit about my career, about that much.
Yeah.
And then we'll dive into the Orphan Train, and then I'll set up the scenes, and then we'll sing some of the songs, and then I'll have time for Q&A, and then sign some books or some posters, actually, because you can't sign an audiobook. We'll have posters there and stuff like that to sign.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that for you because, and when you think about it, going from what all you was doing and everything and then changing over to the book, it's kind of like you just reinvented yourself along the way, and you've created something that's amazing. It's interesting. It's factual. And it's something that I could get behind, man. I mean, it's awesome.
Well, I can't wait for you to listen to it this weekend. And then you can always shoot Clara a text or me a text and say, hey, I like it, hopefully.
Yeah. And when y'all get the book signing figured out in Nashville, let me know. I'll be sure to tell people on the show.
Fantastic. Well, fantastic. We'll let you know for sure, David.
Yeah, because I can guarantee damn well tell you I'm going to be there.
All right. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I love it, man. I love everything that you're doing. I love the whole creative process, man. And it's just, it's pretty wild how everything has changed around and you're doing this now. And I just, I couldn't be happier for you, man.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it.
No problem. Have you got a website or anything you can tell people to go to?
Yeah, it's Moraine Music, and it's actually what is the website? It's a web
MoraineMusic.com.
Yeah, MoraineMusic.com, and that's MORAINE music.com.
Sweet. I love
that'll
it.
give you the night of the Orphan Train will pop up there. And then and also, like, if people would like to check it out, you can also, like I said, go to Spotify or Amazon or Audible or any of those things, and it's all there.
I love it.
You go to the website and read about some of the stuff like what we've talked about today. Really
good. I love it. That's I just hope more people go out and listen to it and get a good feel for everything that you put forward, man.
Well, all right. Well, I do too.
Thank you for being on the show, brother.
Well, David, I appreciate you inviting me, and we can do this a few more times. Whenever you want.
Oh yeah, we'll have some fun. I'm in Hendersonville, so we might actually squeak you over here to the studio.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm ready.
It's not like the studios of old, but yeah, we got it together here. So
cool. That's great, buddy.
I love it. Brent, thank you so much for being on. And I do wish you great success in this because I think a lot of people need to listen to it and it could change some lives, brother.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right, Brent. We'll talk to you later, buddy.
All right, buddy. Cheers, everybody.
See ya.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. Please remember, go check out Brent Maher's book, everything that he's got going on, and have some fun with it. Listen to this. because he's got some good points on it and everything else. And you're going to really like it. Remember, go to his website and also like, share, follow, and subscribe. It helps us all. All right, we're out of here. Love you. Mean it. Bye.